But we're working on a Ford Escape today. We're changing out the brakes and rotors. Okay. There it is. Get your plastic cover off without breaking it. And then you'll expose your lug nuts. Some of you watching my channel are women, and I know you want to do this job yourself. You're a woman, so if you don't have enough strength in your arms, if you're not a bodybuilder woman, then you can just use your foot. Put your foot on one end, push down with your foot, with the other hand pull up as you're pushing down with your foot, and that'll give you extra torque to pull that bolt off. You're pulling these bolts off. A trick I do, I keep the tire iron level, and then I just spin it fast. That way you don't have to sit here and turn it all day with your hand. You can just do it in one little spin. Let me try to get this in one spin. Well, it's probably okay. Now once you get your tire off, put your lug nuts in a safe and secure location where you won't lose them. I put mine back into the caps so you could just, you'll know where they're at. And then on the back of the rotor, there are two 18mm nuts holding the caliper on to the rotor. You need to crack those loose. Okay, once you get them cracked loose, just go ahead and spin them the rest of the way out. I like to do this trick right here because using that ratchet all day just takes all day, I want to get this shit done now. So that's why I do this. Put your bolts in a place where you can find them. See that spider right there trying to attack me? Got his eyes on me. I had to do the quick turnaround and look at this motherfucker before he bit me. Look at this shit. It's looking at me, motherfucker. Don't be looking at me. Those are jumping spiders too, I know it. Okay, now once you get your second bolt out, this thing will be trying to fall to the ground, how heavy it is. So you need something to keep it held up into the air. Let me go grab something. Okay. Now you just tie off your brake caliper so it doesn't interfere or, hang by its brake line and cause any damage to the brake line. That's just the way to prevent damage. When you're tying that off, don't make a knot. Just make a little loop so you can pull it back out, because if you make a knot, you're not going to be able to get that back out. So remember, D11 Auto is trying to keep you guys informed with all the best tips. But yeah, this is the rotor. So normally I gotta hit the rotor with 5 or 6 times with a hammer because of how long that rotor's been on there. But this rotor just came right off. I didn't even have to hit it with the hammer once. So pow, get that off of there. Now let's go get our new rotor. Here's our brand new rotor right here. This thing is looking top of the line. Look at the difference between the texture. Old texture, new texture. I popped the brake pads out This is what they're looking like. Yeah. That's where most of the sound is coming from right there. And for us, we're using the Duralast Gold brakes. Let's not forget to shout out our sponsors. So these are the thickness of the new brake pad. You see how thick that is? New pad. These two surfaces will be mating. So that's how thick the pad looks inside of there. Now let me show you guys the old brake pad. Now here's the old one. See that difference? Old, new. And when you're putting this brake pad in, it has these little, you know, that little clip right there, that goes inside of the circle, inside. It's kind of hard to get it up in there. I'm trying to do that right now. Just trying to get this little last lip. Before you install the brake pad, you got to compress. You got to recompress the spring down there. So what I do, I get an old brake pad and I fit it in there in the right orientation to where those tabs actually fit on both sides, and then I flatten it down with the C-clamp. That's how I compressed it. I'll show you on the other side video footage of that, but on this side the spring's already compressed. So now, okay, now once you get your brake pads installed, you want to give your rotor a quick cleaning before you install the brake pads onto it, because if there's any oil or any type of residue, it'll mess up your brakes. So, you know, that thin film of oil will deteriorate your brakes way faster for some reason. So let's make these brakes last longer by wiping this rotor down, and then we'll go from there. Okay. Then you put both your 18mm bolts back in to the back of the caliper. Tighten those down to 90 foot-pounds. And there'll still be a little gap in between the brake pads and the rotor, because the spring in there is still compressed. But once you press on the brakes, it'll decompress. So yeah, let's go to the other side now. Let's put this tire back on and go to the other side. Repeat the same procedure. All right, same thing with this side. Get your flathead screwdriver in. Wedge this thing all the way around. Try to get it even so you don't break anything. Okay, once you crack the bolts loose, on the other side, just take them out by hand. Save yourself some time ratcheting. All right, tied it off. Got the loop. It's not a knot. Let's go back. Now let's take out these brakes, which are just as simple as popping them out. All right, with your old brake pads out, these are what they look like. This is what the passenger side brake pads look like. Pretty much gone, but the actual wear is not as bad as the driver's side look. Let me show you guys the driver's side one more time. Look at the wear on that one. So this is overdone. Like, the pad was gone and now it started scraping the metal behind the pad. Okay, now to get your rotor off, if it doesn't want to come off, hit it with a hammer around the edges. There it is. Now let's look at the wear of this rotor. See how shiny that looks? Flat and shiny. This side, the rotor is not flat. The texture is like a whole bunch of straight lines going through it at different levels. So, alright, now we want to compress the spring to get your new brake pad on. So what you do is you put your old brake pad in there. Whoa, that wasn't supposed to happen. Alright, then you put your old brake pad in place to where those tabs actually line up in the back. And then you compress this spring until it's all the way compressed. Let me show you guys what that looks like. How can I set this up to where you guys can see? And that's what it looks like compressing. And you just want it all the way flat as possible. Till it bottoms out and you. Okay. Then you want to wipe off your brake pads. You know, I don't know what the dirt will do to the brake pads, but let's just keep everything clean. Now let's get out the new rotor. And remember, when they package these rotors, they put a thin film of oil to protect these things from rusting. So you do want to clean that thin film of oil off to prevent heat marks, and you know. So that's what we're gonna do. Wipe that thin coat of oil off. Okay, then once you get your brake caliper on, tighten down the 18mm bolts to 90 foot-pounds. Then you're good to go ahead and put on your wheel. Let's do that now. Put your wheel on. Put the lug nuts on. Tighten them down. Then we can go ahead and give it a test. See how the brakes are sounding after. After putting it back together, we'll give it a test.